What if the most dominant response to disrespect was not a word, but a silence? What if you could shut down any insult or provocation without ever losing your cool, your presence, or your power? True strength isn't shown in a loud reaction. It's demonstrated in quiet, unshakable resolve. 10 Dominant Moves to Reject Disrespect, compiled and published by Stoic Dominion. Lesson 1. Silent Gaze over Verbal Reaction. Imagine a great lion, the undisputed king of his domain, resting in the sun. A pack of yapping jackals approaches, nipping at the air, trying to provoke him with their frantic, noisy displays. The lion does not roar back. He does not waste his energy engaging with their chaos. He simply lifts his head and fixes them with a slow, steady, and utterly unimpressed gaze. In his silence, in that deep and unwavering gaze, there is a power so profound that the jackal's noisy chatter falters. They fall silent and slink away, defeated not by a roar, but by a look. This is the power of the silent gaze. This brings us to a deep inner conflict. When we are faced with disrespect, a sarcastic comment, a passive-aggressive jab, an outright insult, our immediate primal instinct is to react verbally. We feel a desperate urge to defend our honor, correct the record, to fire back with a clever retort, to prove them wrong. The problem statement is this: our immediate verbal reaction is almost always a strategic blunder. It is exactly what the disrespectful person wants. It signals that their arrow has hit its mark, that they have successfully disturbed our inner peace. The moment we open our mouth to defensively explain or angrily retaliate, we have lost our position of strength. We have descended to their level and entered their frame, playing a game they set up for us to lose. The transformative solution, the first and most fundamental dominant move, is to choose the silent gaze over the verbal reaction. You must become the lion, not the jackal. The core idea is that your silence, when combined with a calm, steady gaze, is an incredibly powerful communication tool. It sends a clear and unambiguous message. Your words are like the yapping of jackals. They are noise, and they have no power to affect my inner state. You are not important enough to provoke a reaction from me. This move instantly reverses the power dynamic. The discomfort which they tried to place on you is handed right back to them, amplified by your unnerving calm. This is a direct application of Stoic wisdom. The Stoics taught that insults only have power if you accept them as true and assent to the judgment that you have been harmed. A silent, steady gaze is a physical manifestation of non-assent. It is a quiet declaration that you are the sole judge of your own worth and that the verdict of a jackal is irrelevant. To begin this practice, you must train your lion's gaze. For the next week, your task is to become highly aware of small moments of disrespect. When you perceive one, you will override your instinct to speak. Instead, you will perform this move. You will turn your head slowly, lock eyes with the person, and hold their gaze for a full 3 seconds, without saying a word. Your expression should not be angry or aggressive. It should be neutral, calm, and slightly curious, as if you are observing a strange insect. After 3 seconds of unbroken, silent eye contact, you can then choose to either change the subject, ask a calm, clarifying question, or, most powerfully, simply turn your attention away as if nothing of consequence was said. The profound benefit of this practice is that you will begin to feel an immense sense of self-control and power. You will shut down disrespect instantly, without creating unnecessary drama or conflict. People will learn very quickly that their provocations have no effect on you, which makes you an incredibly unappealing target. You are no longer a reactive participant in their games. You are the calm lion, whose silence is more powerful than any roar. The silent gaze is a powerful way to hold your ground. But sometimes, the most dominant move is to cede the ground entirely, on your own terms. In our next lesson, we will master the art of walking away without explaining yourself. If you are ready to master your silence, declare it in the comments below. My silence is my shield. Your commitment to this discipline strengthens our entire community. Please remember to subscribe to the Stoic Dominion channel, like this video, and share your thoughts to help us grow. Lesson 2. Walk away without explaining yourself. Imagine our wise king on his throne. A foolish and belligerent courtier is making a scene, leveling baseless accusations and demanding an audience. The king listens for a moment, assesses the situation, and recognizes that the courtier is not interested in reason or truth, but only in creating drama. The king does not engage. He does not argue. He does not try to defend his honor against a fool. He simply rises from his throne, turns his back, and walks out of the throne room in a profound and dignified silence. This act of walking away is not a retreat. It is a royal dismissal. It is a silent, powerful declaration that this conversation is over because you are not worthy of my time or energy. This brings us to a painful inner conflict. When we are in a toxic, unproductive, or disrespectful situation, we often feel trapped. We feel an obligation to stay, to argue our point, to make the other person see reason. The problem statement is this: our belief that we owe everyone an explanation, or that we must have the final word, keeps us engaged in battles that we can never win. We waste hours of our life and immense amounts of emotional energy trying to reason with unreasonable people. We are the king who believes he must personally argue with every drunken fool in his kingdom. This doesn't prove his strength. It diminishes his authority and exhausts his spirit. The transformative solution is to master the dominant move of walking away without explaining yourself. You must recognize that your time and your inner peace are your most valuable resources, and you have the sovereign right to refuse to spend them on unproductive and disrespectful encounters. The core idea is that walking away is not an act of weakness. It is an act of supreme self-respect. It is a quiet declaration that you value your own tranquility more than you value winning a pointless argument. It is the ultimate boundary, the physical removal of yourself from a toxic environment. It is a move that leaves the disrespectful person alone with their own toxicity, with no one to play their game. The Stoics were masters of conserving their energy for what truly mattered. They would not waste their time debating with those who were not arguing in good faith. They understood that engaging with a fool does not make you wise, it just makes two fools. The act of walking away is a powerful application of the Stoic principle of focusing only on what is within your control. You cannot control the other person's behavior, but you have absolute control over your own presence. Removing it is a powerful choice. To begin this practice, you must redefine your duty in a conflict. For the next week, your task is to give yourself permission to walk away. You will practice the sovereign exit. When you find yourself in a conversation that is circular, unproductive, or disrespectful, you will not feel obligated to continue it. You will not make a dramatic scene. You will simply state, calmly and without anger, "I am no longer going to continue this conversation." And then you will physically leave the room or end the call. There is no need for a long explanation. You do not need to justify your decision. "Because I am choosing not to" is a complete and sufficient reason. The key is to do it without anger and without a parting shot. It must be a clean, decisive, and dignified exit. The profound benefit of this practice is an incredible sense of liberation. You will realize how much of your life you have wasted in pointless arguments. By reclaiming your right to walk away, you will save countless hours and immense amounts of emotional energy. You will teach people that access to your time and attention is a privilege, not a right, and it will be revoked in the face of disrespect. You are no longer a prisoner of every conversation. You are the king who knows when the audience is over. Walking away is a physical act of dominance, but even when we must stay, we can project power through our physical being. In our next lesson, we will learn how to maintain a powerful posture even when under verbal attack. If you are ready to master your exit, declare it in the comments below. I am free to walk away. Your commitment to this freedom inspires us all. Please, remember to subscribe to the Stoic Dominion channel to continue your training. Lesson 3. Maintain posture under verbal attack. Let us return to our wise king on his throne. A hostile envoy from a rival kingdom is standing before him, delivering a message full of veiled threats and subtle insults. The envoy's goal is to intimidate the king, to make him feel small and fearful. As the verbal attack continues, the foolish king might begin to physically shrink. He might slump in his throne, his shoulders might round, his gaze might fall. His posture would become a physical confession of his inner turmoil. The wise king, however, does the opposite. As the verbal pressure increases, he seems to grow more solid. He consciously straightens his spine, lifts his chin slightly, and keeps his hands resting calmly in his lap. His posture is a silent, powerful shield. It communicates, "Your words are wind. I am stone. I am not moved." This illustrates a deep and often unconscious inner conflict. When we are under verbal attack or intense social pressure, our bodies often betray us. The problem statement is this: our posture tends to mirror our inner emotional state, and a weak posture signals submission and fear. We instinctively slouch, cross our arms defensively, or make ourselves physically smaller when we feel attacked. This not only communicates weakness to the other person, giving them a sense of victory, but it also sends a feedback loop to our own brain that reinforces our feeling of powerlessness. Our body's reaction deepens our emotional overreaction. The transformative solution is to learn to use your posture as an anchor for your inner state. You must master the dominant move of maintaining a strong, calm, and open posture, especially when you feel attacked. The core idea is that your physiology and your psychology are a two-way street. Just as your feelings can affect your body can affect your feelings. By consciously choosing a posture of quiet confidence and strength, you are sending a powerful signal back to your own brain that you are safe and in command. You are using your body to lead your mind. This is a practical, physical technique for rejecting disrespect. The Stoics understood this connection between mind and body. They believed in holding oneself with a certain dignity, not out of vanity, but as a form of self-respect and mental discipline. A man whose mind is well-ordered should have a body that reflects that order. Maintaining a calm and strong posture is a physical expression of the Stoic virtue of fortitude. To begin this practice, you must become the sculptor of your own presence. For the next week, your task is to practice postural integrity. Several times a day, you will perform a quick check of your posture. Are your shoulders slumped? Is your back rounded? Are you physically closing yourself off? When you notice this, you will gently but firmly correct it. You will roll your shoulders back, straighten your spine, and open up your chest. You will pay special attention to this in moments of stress or conflict. If you are on a difficult phone call, stand up and walk around with a confident posture. If you are in a tense meeting, consciously sit upright and place your hands calmly on the table. You are not trying to be aggressive. You are trying to be solid, grounded, and unshakable. The profound benefit of this practice is that you will begin to feel a noticeable shift in your own inner state. You will feel calmer, more confident, and more in control simply by changing your physical posture. Others will also perceive this shift. Your calm, strong posture will act as a silent shield, deflecting verbal attacks and signaling to others that you are not an easy target. You are the king, and your very posture is a declaration of your unshakable authority. A strong posture is a form of boundary. Now we must learn to use our boundaries in other ways, as silent shields that protect our peace. In our next lesson, we will explore this crucial art. If you are ready to master your physical presence, declare it in the comments below. My posture is my power. Your commitment to this practice helps our entire community stand taller. Please remember to subscribe to the Stoic Dominion channel. Lesson 4. Use boundaries as silent shields. Imagine the great walls of a well-fortified castle. These walls are the kingdom's ultimate boundary. They do not need to be loud or aggressive. They do not shout threats at an approaching army. Their power is in their silent, massive, and non-negotiable presence. When an army arrives and sees the high, thick walls, the walls silently communicate a powerful message. This far and no further, this territory is protected. The walls don't argue with the invaders. They simply exist, a silent shield that makes the cost of attack too high. A man's personal boundaries are the walls of his inner castle. This brings us to a common inner conflict. We want to be protected from disrespect and manipulation, but we often wait until our territory has already been invaded before we try to fight back. The problem statement is this: We think of boundaries as something we have to verbally and confrontationally assert after they have been crossed. This is like trying to build a wall in the middle of a battle. It's too late, and it's chaotic. This reactive approach to boundaries is why we feel so drained and constantly under siege. We are living in a kingdom with no walls, wondering why there are always invaders in our courtyard. The transformative solution is to learn to use your boundaries as silent shields. You must build your walls and man your gates before the attack comes. The core idea is that a boundary is not a verbal argument. It is a standard of behavior that you have set for your own life, and you enforce it through your own quiet actions. Strong, pre-existing boundaries are a silent deterrent. Disrespectful people, like an invading army, are always probing for weaknesses. When they encounter the high, solid wall of a man with strong boundaries, they will most often simply move on to find an easier, less defended target. Your boundaries do the work of rejecting disrespect for you, often without you having to say a single word. The Stoics lived this principle. Their core boundary was their commitment to virtue. They would not allow the irrationality, the flattery, or the insults of others to cross the wall into their inner citadel. They enforced this boundary not by arguing with the world, but by quietly refusing to participate in anything that violated their principles. Their life was their wall. To begin this practice, you must become the architect of your own fortress. For the next week, your task is to design and build one new silent shield. You will identify one recurring form of disrespect that you frequently tolerate. Perhaps it's a friend who always makes passive-aggressive jokes at your expense. Your boundary is not to confront them with a big dramatic speech. Your boundary is a new rule of action for yourself. Your new rule might be, the moment this person makes a passive-aggressive joke, I will no longer laugh along or engage. I will meet it with a moment of silent, unimpressed eye contact, and then I will immediately change the subject. Or, even more powerfully, the moment this person makes a passive-aggressive joke, I will calmly and quietly end the conversation and walk away. You are not arguing about the joke. You are not explaining why it hurt your feelings. You are silently enforcing the wall. Your action simply says, that behavior is not welcome inside my walls. The profound benefit of this practice is that you will take control of the dynamics of your relationships without creating unnecessary drama. You will teach people how to treat you through your own quiet, consistent actions. You will find that the jokes and other forms of disrespect begin to cease because they no longer get the reaction the person was seeking. You are building a peaceful, well-defended kingdom, and its silent walls are the most powerful statement of your strength. Strong boundaries are a form of silent communication. Now we will sharpen another tool of silent dominance, our gaze. In our next lesson, we will learn how to hold eye contact without emotion. If you are ready to build your walls, declare it in the comments below. My actions are my walls. Your commitment to this practice helps our entire community build its defenses. Please remember to subscribe to the Stoic Power channel. Lesson 5. Hold eye contact without emotion. Let us return to the image of the great lion, the king of his domain. When he is challenged by a lesser creature, his most powerful weapon is often his gaze. He does not need to roar or attack. He simply fixes the other animal with a stare that is steady, unblinking, and completely devoid of reactive emotion. His gaze is not angry. It is not fearful. It is a look of pure, grounded, and dominant presence. This unwavering, emotionless eye contact communicates a message far more powerful than any threat. I see you. I am not intimidated by you, and I am in complete control of myself. It is this lack of emotional reaction in his gaze that is so profoundly unsettling to his challenger. This highlights a subtle but critical inner conflict. When we are in a confrontational situation, our eyes often betray our inner turmoil. The problem statement is this: our inability to control our eyes signals a lack of control over ourselves. When we are being disrespected, our instinct is to break eye contact and look away, which is a universal sign of submission. Or we might glare back with anger, which is a sign that we have been emotionally triggered and have lost our cool. In either case, our eyes have confessed our inner weakness to our opponent, giving them the upper hand. The transformative solution is to master the dominant move of holding eye contact without emotion. You must learn to use your gaze like the lion. The core idea is that your eyes are a powerful tool of communication, and a calm, steady gaze is a broadcast of inner strength and composure. When you can hold eye contact with a person who is trying to provoke you, without showing anger, fear, or any other reactive emotion, you are demonstrating an elite level of self-mastery. You are silently communicating that you are on a completely different level of emotional control, and this can be incredibly disarming. The Stoics knew the importance of a calm and steady demeanor. They sought to have a facial expression that was serene and untroubled, a reflection of their well-ordered inner world. Holding a calm gaze is a physical practice that reinforces this inner state. It is a way of using your body to command your mind to remain centered and unmoved. To begin this practice, you must train your lion's gaze. This is a two-part exercise. Part 1 is to practice in a mirror. For 2 minutes each day, you will look into your own eyes in the mirror. You will practice holding your own gaze without looking away. You will practice relaxing your facial muscles, letting go of any expression of anger or anxiety, and simply cultivating a look of calm, neutral presence. Part 2 is to practice in low-stakes, everyday interactions. When you are ordering a coffee, when you are speaking with a cashier, you will practice holding friendly, calm, and steady eye contact for a few seconds longer than you normally would. You are simply getting comfortable with the act of holding a gaze without feeling awkward or intimidated. Then, you will be ready to deploy this skill in a moment of conflict. The next time you are being disrespected, you will use your silent gaze or your brief, calm response, and you will accompany it with this steady, emotionless eye contact. The profound benefit of this practice is a massive increase in your perceived confidence and authority. You will find that people are less likely to challenge or disrespect you when they are met with this unshakable, calm gaze. It non-verbally communicates that you are not someone to be trifled with. Internally, you will feel a new sense of grounded power, knowing that you can face any social pressure without flinching. You are no longer the nervous creature that looks away. You are the lion, the calm and undisputed king of your domain. Holding eye contact is a way of owning your personal space. Now we must expand that concept to owning the entire space we enter. In our next lesson, we will explore this powerful idea. If you are ready to master your gaze, declare it in the comments below. My gaze is my anchor. Your commitment to this practice helps our entire community to see the world with clearer eyes. Please, remember to subscribe to the Stoic Power channel. Lesson 6. Own the space you enter. Imagine our wise king entering his crowded and noisy throne room. He does not rush in. He does not try to shout over the din. He simply appears at the doorway and stands there for a moment, silent and still. He takes up space. His presence, born of his inner stillness and self-mastery, radiates outward like a silent, powerful wave. One by one, the courtiers sense his arrival. The chatter begins to die down. The frantic energy of the room begins to calm. He has not said a word, yet he has completely taken control of the energy of the space. He owns the space he enters, not through force, but through the gravitational pull of his own regal presence. This brings us to a subtle but powerful inner conflict. We often enter social or professional spaces feeling like an apologetic guest in someone else's house. The problem statement is this: our hesitant, ungrounded energy communicates low status and invites disrespect. We walk into a room with our shoulders slumped, we take up as little physical space as possible, and we wait for others to dictate the social reality. This tentative energy makes us an easy target for more dominant or disrespectful personalities. We feel like we don't belong, and our own energy then creates the very reality we fear. The transformative solution is to learn to own the space you enter. You must adopt the mindset of the king entering his own throne room. The core idea is that you have a right to be here. You belong in any room you choose to enter. Owning the space is not about being arrogant or loud. It is about exuding a quiet, grounded confidence that comes from a deep sense of self-worth and inner calm. It is a physical and energetic declaration that you are a man of substance and your presence has weight. This energy is incredibly powerful and naturally commands respect. The Stoics taught that we should move through the world with a certain dignity, as befits a rational being who is a citizen of the cosmos. This means not shrinking from the world, but occupying your space in it with a quiet and unshakable confidence. This is not about seeking to dominate others, but about achieving a state of natural dominance that comes from first having mastered yourself. To begin this practice, you must become the master of your domain. For the next week, your task is to practice the threshold technique. Every time you are about to enter a new space, a room, an office, a social gathering, you will pause for a moment at the threshold before you enter. In this pause, you will do two things. First, you will perform a quick posture check, as we learned in a previous lesson. You will stand up straight, roll your shoulders back, and lift your chin. You will physically take up space. Second, you will say a silent mantra to yourself. I own this space, I belong here. Then, you will walk into the room slowly and deliberately, not with arrogance, but with the calm purpose of a king entering his own court. You will walk to your chosen spot, not with hesitant, shuffling steps, but with a grounded, confident stride. The profound benefit of this practice is that it will completely change how you feel in social and professional environments, and therefore, how others perceive you. You will feel your social anxiety decrease and your confidence increase. People will unconsciously register your grounded energy and will treat you with a higher level of respect from the very first moment. You are no longer the apologetic guest. You are the quiet, dignified king, and every room you enter is your throne room. Owning the space is a powerful act of presence. Sometimes we must use this presence to interrupt disrespect in the moment. In our next lesson, we will learn how to do this with the power of stillness. If you are ready to own your space, declare it in the comments below. Every room is my throne room. Your commitment to this practice helps our entire community to stand tall. Please remember to subscribe to the Stoic Power channel. Lesson 7. Interrupt disrespect with stillness. Let us return to our king's court. A brash and arrogant nobleman is speaking, his voice loud and full of disrespect for the king's recent decree. He is trying to dominate the room with the force of his negative energy, hoping to incite a reaction. A foolish king might interrupt him by shouting back, entering into a noisy and undignified brawl. The wise king, however, uses a far more powerful and dominant tool. He does not interrupt the nobleman with more noise. He interrupts him with a sudden, profound, and absolute stillness. He holds up one hand, a single silent gesture. He leans forward slightly, his gaze fixed and intense. The entire court, sensing the shift, falls completely silent. The nobleman's loud, disrespectful words are left hanging in a vast ocean of quiet disapproval. The king's stillness has shattered the nobleman's momentum more effectively than any shout could have. This highlights a key inner conflict. When someone is being disrespectful, especially in a public setting, we feel a frantic need to interrupt them, to correct them, to stop them with our own words. The problem statement is that by interrupting disrespect with more noise, we often just escalate the conflict and give the disrespectful person the dramatic scene they were hoping for. We are meeting their chaotic energy with more chaotic energy. We are trying to put out a fire with gasoline. This almost always makes us look weak and out of control, as if we are so threatened by their words that we cannot even bear to let them finish. The transformative solution is to learn to interrupt disrespect, not with noise, but with stillness. You must master the art of the pattern interrupt. The core idea is that a disrespectful person is operating on a certain energetic momentum. They expect you to get defensive, to argue, to react in a predictable way. When you instead respond with a sudden, calm, and focused stillness, you are breaking their pattern completely. It is a move they do not have a script for. This sudden shift in energy is deeply unsettling for them and incredibly powerful for you. It seizes control of the dynamic of the situation instantly and without a single word. The Stoics knew that a man of true strength does not need to flail about. His stillness is his weapon. A rock does not need to argue with the river. Its silent, immovable presence is enough to change the river's course. Your calm, focused stillness can be that rock. To begin this practice, you must learn to deploy your stillness bomb. This is a technique to be used when someone is on a disrespectful rant. Instead of interrupting with words, you will interrupt with a specific, non-verbal action. You will stop everything else you're doing. You will turn your body to face them fully. You will fix them with the calm, emotionless gaze we have practiced. You will let a profound silence hang in the air. You will hold this absolute stillness for a few seconds longer than feels comfortable. You are creating a vacuum. The disrespectful person, who was feeding on the energy of the conflict, will suddenly find their momentum gone. They will falter. They will become uncomfortable. After you have held the stillness, you can then choose to respond with a single, calm, and precise question, like, "Are you finished?" Or you can simply maintain the silence until they back down. The profound benefit of this practice is that it will give you a powerful tool for de-escalating and taking control of highly charged situations without ever being aggressive. You will learn that you can dominate a confrontation without raising your voice. You are the king whose silent gesture can quiet an entire court. Stillness can interrupt disrespect. But what about the rage we feel inside? In our next lesson, we will learn how to replace that inner rage with a quiet, more potent power. If you are ready to master the power of the pattern interrupt, declare it in the comments below. My stillness is my interruption. Your commitment to this practice brings a new level of poise to our community. Please subscribe to the Stoic Power channel. Lesson 8. Replace rage with quiet power. Imagine the inner fire of a king. The foolish king allows his anger to become a wildfire. When he is betrayed or his will is thwarted, his rage explodes outward, scorching his own kingdom, burning his bridges, and terrifying his subjects. His fire is a destructive, chaotic force that ultimately weakens his reign. The wise king, however, has learned to be a master of his own inner fire. He feels the same heat of anger, but he does not let it become a wildfire. Instead, he contains it within the strong, stone hearth of his self-discipline. He transforms the chaotic energy of rage into a steady, controlled, and powerful inner fire that provides warmth, light, and the focused energy to forge wise and powerful solutions. This is the metaphor for our own inner conflict with anger. We are told that expressing our rage is a sign of strength, of not taking any nonsense. The problem statement is this: explosive rage is not a sign of power, it is a sign of powerlessness. It is a confession that you have completely lost control of your own inner kingdom and have handed the crown to your most primitive reptilian brain. An outburst of rage almost always makes a situation worse. It damages trust, invites retaliation, and clouds your judgment, leading to catastrophic decisions. It is the wildfire that burns down your own house. The transformative solution is to learn to replace rage with quiet power. You must become the keeper of your own inner hearth. The core idea is that the energy behind rage is real and valuable. It is a powerful signal that a core value has been violated or a serious injustice has occurred. The goal is not to extinguish this fire, but to transmute it. You must take the raw, destructive energy of the wildfire and channel it into the contained, constructive heat of the forge. This quiet power is a focused, disciplined, and relentless energy that is directed toward solving the problem, not just expressing the emotion. The Stoics, especially Seneca, who wrote a brilliant treatise on anger, saw rage as a form of temporary madness, the most destructive of all passions. They argued that a wise man never needs rage, because reason provides all the motivation necessary to fight for justice and correct wrongs, but it does so without the blinding, destructive side effects of fury. To begin this alchemical practice, you must build your inner hearth. The next time you feel the wildfire of rage beginning to spark, you will perform a 3-step energy transmutation. Step 1 is to acknowledge the fire. You will pause and say to yourself, "I feel a powerful surge of angry energy. This is fuel." Step 2 is to contain the fire. You will use your breathing and your physical anchoring techniques to prevent an outward explosion. You are building the stone hearth around the flames. Step 3 is to channel the fire. You will ask yourself the powerful question, what is the single most strategic and virtuous action I can take right now to address the root cause of this injustice? You are giving the fire a productive job. Instead of yelling at the person who made a mistake, you channel that energy into creating a better system so the mistake cannot happen again. Instead of raging about an unfair situation, you channel that energy into a calm, well-researched, and powerful plan to change it. The profound benefit of this practice is that you will turn your most destructive emotion into your most powerful fuel for positive change. You will become known not as an angry person, but as a passionate and effective advocate for what is right. You are no longer the arsonist. You are the master blacksmith, using your inner fire to forge a better world. Quiet power is more effective than loud rage. The same principle applies to our words. In our next lesson, we will learn how to disarm others with the power of deliberate brevity. If you are ready to master your inner fire, declare it in the comments below. I am the keeper of the hearth. Your commitment to this practice helps us all burn brighter, not burn out. Please remember to subscribe to the Stoic Power channel. Lesson 9. Disarm with deliberate brevity. Let us return to our wise king on his throne. A long-winded and manipulative envoy has been speaking for an hour, trying to confuse the issue with a flood of words, hoping to trap the king in a logical inconsistency or to simply wear him down. The foolish king would get drawn into this game. He would try to rebut every point to match the envoy's verbosity, and he would soon find himself lost in a swamp of meaningless debate. The wise king, however, waits patiently. When the envoy finally falls silent, the king does not offer a long counter-argument. He leans forward, pauses for a moment, and delivers a single short, powerful sentence that cuts through all the noise and ends the conversation. It could be a simple no, a clarifying question like, "What is your actual request?" or a final decree like, "We are finished here." His brevity is a weapon of devastating clarity. This is a powerful metaphor for a common inner conflict. When we are in a disagreement or being challenged, we feel an intense pressure to over-explain and over-justify our position. The problem statement is this: verbosity is a sign of weakness and a lack of conviction. When you use 100 words to make a point that could be made in 5, you are communicating uncertainty. You are implicitly asking for the other person's approval of your reasoning. This gives a manipulator an incredible advantage. They will happily let you talk for hours, picking apart your words, finding contradictions, and using your own lengthy explanations to tie you in knots. You are handing them the rope with which to hang you. The transformative solution is to master the dominant art of deliberate brevity. You must learn to speak like the king, not the nervous courtier. The core idea is that a statement's power is often inversely proportional to its length. A short, clear, and calm statement, delivered without apology, communicates absolute confidence and clarity of mind. It gives your opponent nothing to grab onto, no cracks to wedge their arguments into. It is a smooth, hard, impenetrable shield. By choosing your words with the precision of a poet, you can disarm your opponent and end a conflict before it has a chance to escalate. The Stoics, particularly the Spartans they admired, were famous for their laconic speech. They believed that a virtuous mind was a clear and uncluttered mind, and that this should be reflected in one's language. They saw excessive speech as a form of incontinence, a sign of a mind that was not in control of itself. To begin this practice, you must become a verbal minimalist. For the next week, your task is to practice the rule of 5. In any situation where you need to state a position or decline a request, you will challenge yourself to do it in 5 words or less. This will feel impossible at first. It forces you to distill your thoughts down to their absolute essence. For example, instead of a long email explaining why you can't attend a meeting, you practice writing, "Unfortunately, I will be unable to attend." Instead of a long, apologetic excuse for declining a social invitation, you practice saying, "Thank you, but I can't make it." You are removing all the apologetic fluff and the defensive justifications. You are simply stating the fact. The profound benefit of this practice is that it will make your communication incredibly powerful and clear. You will stop getting drawn into pointless debates and negotiations. You will find that people start to take your no as a final answer, not as an opening for a negotiation. You are building a reputation as a person whose word is final, whose mind is clear, and whose resolve is unshakable. We have learned how to act with power. Now, for our final lesson, we must learn the ultimate truth of this path. That true respect is never demanded but always commanded. If you are ready to master the art of brevity, declare it in the comments below. Fewer words, more power. Your commitment to this practice brings clarity to our entire community. Please subscribe to the Stoic Dominion channel. Lesson 10. Command respect without demanding it. Imagine the sun one last time. It hangs in the center of the solar system, a sphere of immense power and light. The planets do not orbit the sun because the sun sent out a decree demanding their respect. They do not follow its path because the sun threatened them or boasted of its importance. The planets orbit the sun for one reason and one reason only. The sun's own nature commands it. Its immense mass and gravitational pull are a natural law that cannot be defied. The sun wins the respect of the entire solar system by being with absolute integrity and consistency exactly what it is. Its legacy is one of silent, effortless, and absolute command. This is the final and most profound lesson in our journey. It is the culmination of all the others. The inner conflict we began with is the desire for respect. The problem statement we have explored is that all the common ways we chase respect, by being loud, by demanding it, by reacting emotionally, by trying to impress others, are fundamentally flawed and counterproductive. They are the actions of a small, cold rock, not a great blazing star. They are rooted in a feeling of lack. They are a form of begging. The transformative solution, the final and most dominant move, is to stop trying to win respect at all. You must let go of respect as a goal, and instead make your own character your only goal. The core idea is that true, deep, unshakable respect is a byproduct. It is the shadow cast by a person of substance. It is the orbit created by a person of immense inner gravity. Your work is not to focus on the shadow, but to build the substance. Your work is not to worry about the planets, but to build the core of your own sun. When you focus entirely on embodying the principles we have discussed, on your own stillness, your own boundaries, your own self-control, your own purpose, respect will come to you as a natural and unavoidable consequence. You will command it without ever having to think about it. This is the ultimate promise of Stoicism. It is a path that turns your focus away from the fickle, uncontrollable world of other people's opinions and directs it toward the one thing you can truly build and own: a virtuous and unshakable character. The Stoics promised that if a man could achieve this, he would achieve a state of eudaimonia, a deep and flourishing happiness, and the respect of all wise people would follow, as surely as a shadow follows a man walking in the sun. To begin this final practice, your task is to let go. Your final practice is one of benevolent indifference. For the rest of your life, you will make a conscious commitment to release the need for respect from others. You will focus on one thing and one thing only: earning your own respect. Your daily question will no longer be, "What do they think of me?" but "Am I living in accordance with my own principles? Am I proud of the man I was today?" You will become your own judge, your own jury, and your own greatest admirer, not out of arrogance, but out of a deep and honest respect for the man you are diligently building. The profound benefit of this final practice is true freedom. You will be free from the anxiety of social performance, free from the sting of criticism, and free from the addictive need for praise. You will move through the world with a new lightness and a new power, the quiet, unshakable confidence of a person who is so complete in himself that he needs nothing from anyone. This is the most magnetic and dominant presence a man can possess. You are no longer the asteroid, begging for orbit. You are the sun, and the world cannot help but be drawn to your light. From the silent gaze of a lion to the silent gravity of the sun, you now possess 10 dominant moves to reject disrespect. You know now that true power is quiet, that boundaries are your shield, and that respect is commanded by character, not demanded by ego. This is the path to an unshakable life. Thank you for dedicating yourself to this journey of profound self-mastery. Your commitment to building your inner kingdom is a testament to your strength and an inspiration to us all.